I'm a licensed psychologist, and I'm a senior lecturer in clinical psychology at Mid-Sweden University. I really just want to sort of show you guys where I'm at with some thinking about two kind of peculiarities that I find myself facing. And one is the measurability and sort of quantifiability epidemic, and the other is aontology. So it feels like today everything we do needs to be measured and quantified in some way. And it's kind of, I get the sense that I'm like locked in by quantifiability. This relates to new public management, which is when we pretend like the public sector runs and works like a private sector. So we create products from services so that they can be packaged and sold and measured, and it feels to me like therapy often becomes the measure rather than what is measured. And I think we see this in CBS as well, with like even like more and more measures and ways of trying to get at and measure different processes. And like I know, because I may contribute to this myself, I had a poster about that. And then there's this thing about aontology and materialism. So what, like, we as functional contextualists say that we're aontological, meaning we don't take a stand on whether or not there's a reality. At the same time, CBS is often quoted to be materialistic science, which to me is difficult to get to, like, it's like we don't take a stance on reality, but matter is the only reality. And materialism, of course, comes in part from René Descartes and his dualism, dividing the world into spirit and matter. What we kind of miss is that his motivation for doing this really was to free thought and science from dogmatism by saying that matter is the realm of science, spirit is the realm of the church. So like, if you let us do this, then we can have free thought in one area. So it's almost impossible to think of another way to divide reality, but I want to try by going just back in history to before Descartes and looking at sort of earlier Renaissance thinkers. One of them is Nicholas of Cusa, who divided the mind realm or the spiritual realm into ratio and intellectus. And ratio is sort of the kind that wants to measure and compare, and intellectus is more closely associated to non-knowing and maybe deciding what to measure. And if we want to be really sort of a bit harsher, we could go the route of Giordano Bruno, who called these people who were more governed by ratio thinking, he called them pedants and his enemies. So Bruno had a whole other sort of universe, which was more enchanting and richer and contained magic. Magic to Bruno wasn't like airy or like stuff. It was usable knowledge. He was burnt at the stake for blasphemy, but we don't have to be afraid of the church anymore. Like we can divide the world however we want. We don't have to be dualistic to save ourselves from dogmatism. So I would just suggest that we could look into and maybe broaden our sort of relational repertoire by looking at some of these earlier Renaissance thinkers, and maybe create a more inclusive monism that also has room for magic. And that's not to say that we need more mentalistic models of like, oh, now we need to include intellectus and ratio. It's more like maybe we can expand our universe to create a space for more magic. Thank you.